All right, here we are in, what is this, losers bracket? Quarterfinals? Yeah, losers bracket quarterfinals. The Alberta Beatdown 2 tournament here at OverKlocked Gaming in Edmonton, Alberta, being put on by Edmonton gamers. And we're going to get this game underway. This is game 2 of tQArchaic against tQArchaic. I'm here on Tal'Darim Altar. And just to make sure you guys see that, Archaic throwing out a good old heart to all you guys watching the VODs at home. And we're going to see Archaic, the purple Terran, over here at the bottom left. And tQArchaic over here on the bottom right. The matchup is Terran versus Terran. And we're on Tal'Darim Altar. I expect to see some siege tanks.
Delicious siege tanks. Yes, we have the supply depots here for the both players. And I'm expecting to see siege tanks, possibly fast expansions from the two players into possibly bio as well, and a large Viking ball.
Terran versus Terran really tends to go kind of one of two ways based on what I've seen recently. Siege tanks are kind of the crux of the entire matchup, but it's either Siege Tank Marine or Tank Viking. And Tank Viking is a little bit more into the late game, but Tank Marine is a little bit more mobile. They each have their own advantages, and definitely interested to see what either of these players are going to be going for. Of course, other things like Banshee Rushes, Bio All-Ins, Bio Rushes, blah, blah, blah. All that stuff is still in the playbook at this point in time.
So we do have the gas for both players, so we might be seeing some things that might be viable. Might be the 1-1-1 build into expansion. We might be seeing tank expansion, might be seeing Blue Flame Hellion harassment.
Yeah, again, a lot of stuff that could be going on in this matchup. When you're in a mirror matchup like this, there's just so many different things you can do, especially considering both players are given the same units, the same resources to work with on the map and in the game. So it really just comes down to a lot of behind-the-scenes metagaming and a lot of behind-the-scenes just kind of psychological games going on. Right now we're going to see tQArchaic going to be going with, well, it looks like it might be a Marauder expansion build. He does have the second barracks on the way. Meanwhile, Archaic going to be going for his pretty much trademarked at this point factory play. He's got the reactor going down here on this barracks, and I'm definitely going to be curious to see whether he swaps his factory over to it or not to get a few Hellions out.
1-1-1 build definitely isn't out of the question yet for Archaic. He could still throw down that starport and maybe get some drop action in. We do see that still VTClonze is pumping Marines and Marauders, and he is banking a decent number of minerals, so we may see that he does spend it all. I thought he was going for an expansion soon, but it doesn't look like that's in the books.
Yeah, and this lone Marine is going to be met with a painful fate here. Is just going to get shot in the face by the rocket paw, being burned down by that Marine. And this is a push I've seen quite a few times from tQArchaic. He's got a few Marauders, a few SCVs. He's going to come down, throw a few bunkers in the natural expansion, and put a lot of pressure onto Archaic, who did indeed go for that 1-1-1 opening. He's going to be pumping out a few Hellions here, but the problem is he doesn't have the Marine count that he really needs to deal with these Marauders here. And he just doesn't have the DPS to deal with something like a bunker or anything like that. So he's going to have to be making very, very sure that he does not let this bunker complete. Because once that completes, he's going to have a very hard time dealing with it. Some SCVs are going to come off the line right now. He's making short work of all of the light units with this really good Hellion control. tQArchaic is going to continue trying to get that bunker up. It's going to get picked off pretty easily. Few sacrificial SCVs making their way into the natural expansion, and they're going to be taken down. tQArchaic still continuing to rally a few units across the map, and he's just going to continue threatening to push in here. And Archaic does have to keep a few SCVs off the line in the event that tQArchaic does actually push in.
Archaic did have to pull off quite a bit of SCVs though to stop that attack, and with both players, both at 19 SCVs, that did put VTClonze in a bit of an advantage here.
We got a Reaper from tQArchaic coming in the back right now, and he's got a push in the front. Reaper's going to try to get a few SCV kills while Archaic is distracted up here at the front. He is going to be able to clean up that attack, but the Reaper's already at 3 kills. 4 kills right now, and the SCVs are going to try to get the surround, but the Reaper's just a little bit too slippery. Make sure to oil up before he came into this base. And we take a quick look at the work account right now. We can see Archaic is down to 16 SCVs after pulling them off the line so many times, and then that Reaper harass These Hellions are going to make their way across the map right now and try to deal with these Marines as best as they can. And he does have a Banshee on the way. The question at this point is, did Klonze actually see that tech lab? Yes, he did. He's going to be relatively confident in his ability to defend this, or at least I would assume so, as he should be well aware of the fact that Banshees are a legitimate threat at this point in the game.
And we do see Klonze still on just one base, so I'm curious to see if he's just going to stick with this one base tech throughout the whole game. And we do see Archaic with the siege tank, so we may be seeing an expansion once he gets siege mode up. He's actually probably going for that expansion right now. Interesting choice.
Yeah, maybe trying to buy himself a little bit of time. There's not much in the way of anti-air here. We got a single Marine, and this Banshee is going to be able to wreak havoc on this base. I really do expect to see a 12-kill Banshee here. You can see he's already racking up a large number of kills. You're going to wait for 42 more Marines to pop, because you need a pretty hefty amount of Marines to actually scare off a Banshee. Otherwise, they can just kite the Marines around, clean them up pretty quickly. That's exactly what Archaic is going to try to do. As you can see, the Marine count is already dwindling down. One more shot on that one Marine, that's going to go down, and Klonze is in a lot of trouble now as this Banshee is going to continue to rack up kills. He's down to 8 life. He needs to be very careful. And another Banshee flanking from down there at the bottom. He is going to be able to clean that up. That Banshee did get, what was it? I think 15 kills or so. And he managed to kill 11 workers with it.
Yeah, I actually take back what I said earlier, and that was actually very nice expansion timing there by Archaic. The Banshee flew in and kept all the of Klonze's units busy, so he could get down that expansion just fine.
And now with it just about up and running, he's got a pretty good defensive position here. He did a decent amount of damage with that Banshee, but both players relatively even footing. Of course, Archaic does have a pretty hefty supply advantage at this point, but not a significant army to really threaten Klonze at this point with his wall in. But Klonze just not with a ton of units here. He is kind of pushed into the corner. He really doesn't want to move too far out of his base. He doesn't want to break down this wall quite yet, but he does have enough units here, and he's ready to clean up these Hellions, and that's exactly what he's going to do. The expansion is going to be quite late. He's going to have to make something happen pretty soon here, where he's going to fall behind economically pretty quickly, and it does look like he's going to go for a push and rebuild this wall here. So Klonze just not very interested in going for any kind of expansion here. Archaic's going to be going for a drop, and he might ferry the siege tank in here as well.
I would actually like to see Klonze maybe try to sit back and take an expansion with his tanks, but he does really need to make something happen, as Archaic's expansion has been up for quite a while, and Klonze doesn't have one in sight yet.
Yeah, and Archaic is in a pretty good defensive position here with 2 siege tanks on the high ground. Klonze not quite in siege mode yet. He is able to take down one of the tanks. 2 of the tanks are going to go down, but there is a drop going on in the main base of Klonze at the same time. The Hellions are hanging out in the third base as well, but this siege tank is going to get up in siege mode. He's going to be able to make short work of this with these SCVs able to actually, well, they should be doing that. And Archaic's going to pick this up and drop it. He's going to try to clean this up. There are a few Marines here. Meanwhile, a few more forces down here in the natural expansion of Archaic, doing a pretty decent amount of damage. They were able to clean up the majority of the defenses that Archaic had set up. He did have to pull some SCVs off the line to deal with that. And now Archaic's going to try to keep the pressure on, sneak some Hellions in, but there is a wall here.
Pulling off like all those SCVs, try to pair that one tank, really set back Klonze even further. He's so far behind now, even if he tried to expand, I don't think it would really matter. Basically, he has to mount up for one final attack, and if it fails, he has to GG out.
Yeah, at this point, he is borderlining the one base all in. And with this cloak, he has the opportunity to do a pretty significant amount of damage. So I don't see an engineering bay anywhere for Archaic. And if he manages to get enough Banshees out, hit him at essentially a lucky timing where he just called a pair of mules and he doesn't have any scans in sight, might be able to clean up his army and then run him over. But that's going to be a pretty tall order here. So Klonze is in quite a bit of trouble. Supply counts right now 75 to 45 in favor of Archaic. Klonze pushed back into the corner, and Archaic on a 2-base economy.
Yeah, unless this Banshee's a hero and wipes out absolutely every single SCV that Archaic has, Archaic can basically just sit there and take the entire map, and Klonze cannot do a thing about it.
Now, so here comes the Banshee now. The engineering bay is finally getting built. Cloak isn't quite done yet, and there's a pretty sizable amount of Marines hanging out in the natural expansion. Stim isn't anywhere near done for Archaic. The Banshee is going to have the opportunity to get a few kills, but there's a medevac flying around somewhere here for Archaic. Had the opportunity to do a little bit of damage. And this Banshee, now that I finally found it, with a total of 8 kills here, is getting driven away by these Marines. He is going to go into the natural expansion, try and get a few more kills with this Banshee here. And that's exactly what he's going to be able to do. Turret's going to be going up. Marines trying to get it out of there. There is the cloak, and now he's going to be able to start racking up the kills here. As he's got 13 kills right now, and that number is just going to continue increasing. Meanwhile, Archaic is going to be gearing up for this drop. And the question is, will Klonze have the multitasking needs here? Archaic can completely focus on getting this missile turret up and running. He's okay with losing a few extra SCVs here. And a nice drop here by Klonze to reposition that Banshee away from the vision of that turret. Meanwhile, we got the drop going on by Archaic, and then the base needs to get away from that missile turret. And Klonze's entire army is pretty much here, so he should be able to clean this up pretty easily. We'll lose 1 or 2 SCVs. Stims forward to try and take that out. And I will be able to clean up a decent number of Marines there, but with no medevacs in sight, he's going to have a... Well, he kind of just wasted a stim there.
That Banshee Heroes was quite nice there by Klonze. It did even up the worker count here. And it looks like Klonze is going to try for an expansion. I don't totally agree with that, as he doesn't really have anywhere to put it.
And the Viking trying to chase down the Banshee. Nice job by Klonze to actually decloak the Banshee before it runs out of energy. Something... Oh! Archaic's actually... Okay, I thought we were going to see another MLG moment there. We just completely forgets about it. So my heart starts to race. Does quite a bit of damage to his own command center. There was just an accidental attack move. You can definitely see the pressure starting to get to Archaic, as he is a few games away from being knocked out of this tournament here.
I'm actually quite surprised Archaic did not go for another expansion yet, but he is going to try to push here. That tank is in a reasonable position, so if he's not careful and throws away his army by mistake, then Klonze does have a chance of getting back into this game.
Yeah, so the siege tank count in favor of Archaic is over here at the low ground. He hit pretty much half of the mineral patches here. He's got Marines down there in the bottom, and the defenses for Klonze are just completely out of position, because he's still worried about the drops in the main base, and he really needs to maybe consider lifting off this worker command here. This cloak Banshee is actually going to drive Archaic out of there. I guess he just does not have a scan at the moment. And Klonze just goes for the GG and not going to let himself get any more flustered with this game, and is just going to go right into the next one.